Can I get your reaction to these Israeli airstrikes? We've had over 300 now.
Our priority is to restore security and services, to revive civilian life in institutions and care for newly liberated cities. There are many urgent parts of day-to-day life to restore: bakeries, electricity, water, communications. So our priority is to provide those services to the people.
Syria needs to get stronger and more developed. We don't have any plans to attack Israel. Syria will not be a threat to Israel or to anyone else. Any relationship will be focused on Syria's own interest, security needs, and independence. So we are not in a rush to get Russia out of Syria, as some people think. We already opened channels of communication with them. We don't want a major conflict with any other country. We're not strong enough to face Russia, the United States, Israel, or Turkey right now. We want to open a dialogue.
So on the right terms, the Russians could stay?
In principle, yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. هذا هو المنهج الحق الذي يرتضيه الله لنا، أن يكون العمل معلقا بالأدلة الشرعية، والحكم على الأمور هل هي حق أم باطل لا يكون بناء على ما حققته من نتائج، بل إن الحكم على أي قضية يكون بناء على الأدلة الشرعية من الكتاب والسنة. ومن أراد أن يحكم على المعارك بنتائجها فيلزمه على هذا القياس أن يقول والعياذ بالله: معركة أحد معركة باطلة، أخطأ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بخوضها لأنه هزم، والهزيمة دليل على بطلان المنهج عند أهل الإرجاف والجهل. He says, and these are important words, he says that the way that pleases Allah is that our actions should be dependent on what Allah has ordered us to do. So we should do something not because it will make us win or because of the outcome of it. We should do it because Allah told us to do it. And then we should leave the results to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is the one who will control the outcome, not us. We should do what we're told to do as soldiers, as servants of Allah Azza wa Jal. He tells us to do something, we do it. And we forget about the results. We forget about the outcomes. These are things in the hands of Allah. We don't know the unseen. We don't know the ghaib. والحكم على الأمور هل هي حق أم باطل لا يكون بناء على ما حققته من نتائج. And we do not judge our actions whether they were right or wrong based on the outcome. We judge our actions based on whether they conform to what Allah told us to do or not. We don't judge based on the outcome. To give an example, you're giving somebody da'wah and that person became Muslim. You don't say that person is such a good da'iyah. See, he brought that person to Islam. You don't judge him being a successful da'iyah because of the number of people he's bringing into Islam. You judge him based on whether he's making da'wah according to the way of Rasulullah or not. If it's based on the way of Rasulullah, then he has succeeded even if no one accepts his da'wah. And he has failed and is doing it wrong even if loads of people are becoming Muslim. Because we know that some Anbiya on the Day of Judgment will come with no followers whatsoever. Can we say that they failed? Rasulullah ﷺ says in the authentic hadith, a Nabi will come with 10 followers, a Nabi will come with 5 followers, a Nabi will come with 3 followers, with 2, with 1, and some Anbiya will come with no followers whatsoever. This is a Nabi who spent all of his life making da'wah and no one accepted his da'wah. Can we say that he failed? He's a Nabi. He did it right. He did what Allah told him to do. It is Allah who controls the outcome. And this is a significant flaw that we always fall into. We judge whether our action was right based on the outcome. That is how Islamic groups function. That is how dua function. They always, and probably this is because of Western influence or something, that you judge your success based on the outcome. I mean, it's like in business. That is how companies judge their success. At the end of the day, how much money you made. If you made a lot of money, then you're doing your business right. If you're not making money, then there's something wrong and you need to look into it. That's not how we Muslims deal with ibadah. We do this because Allah told us to do it. Whether it leads to a good outcome or a bad outcome, that's up to Allah Azza wa Jal. We cannot control the results. And he said, and if somebody wants to judge a battle based on the result, then they would need to say that Uhud was wrong and Rasulullah ﷺ should not have fought Uhud because they lost that battle. And no one can dare to say that. Can we say that Rasulullah ﷺ was mistaken when he went to fight in Uhud? They should have stayed home and refused to fight? No. Even though the Muslims lost in the battle of Uhud, we still consider that the actions of Rasulullah ﷺ and the Sahaba were right because they were making jihad fi sabilillah. They were doing what Allah told them to do. Allah told them to fight, and they fought. So they did what they were told to do. But the people of Nifaq, that is how they look at jihad. If jihad is going to end up bringing in spoils of war and bring us power and position, then we'll join the mujahideen. But if jihad is going to cost us our life and wealth, then no, that's not hikmah. They say it's not hikmah. Another example to show the right way of dealing with the issue of jihad fi sabilillah is when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu became Khalifa. Before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, he appoints an army of 3,000 men to go and fight the Roman Empire in the same place where the Battle of Mu'tah occurred. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam appointed Usama bin Zayd to lead that army. And he told him, go and step with your horses over the land where your father was killed. Because his father was the one, he was the Amir of Ghazwat Mu'tah, Zayd bin Haritha. So now Rasulullah is appointing his son to go and take revenge for what happened to the Muslims in Mu'tah. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away before the army leaves. They were still in the camping, a place called Al-Jarf, where the army would assemble. That's where the army base was, or the camp. Now, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, all of the Arabs around Medina apostated. All of them became murtaddin. So the Sahaba said that the situation now is different. The army of Usama should stay. We have other priorities. It's not an appropriate time for us to go and seek a fight with the Roman Empire when we have an immediate danger in the outskirts of Medina. I mean, we're going to travel hundreds of miles to go and fight the Roman Empire when all of the tribes around us have apostated. So they went to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu and told him that you should not send out this army. Now the situation is different. That was the opinion of the Muslims, and that was even the opinion of Usama bin Zayd himself, the head of the army. He sent a letter with Umar bin Khattab, or a verbal message to Abu Bakr, conveyed by Umar bin Khattab. He told him, I have the majority of the Muslims with me. 3,000 soldiers, they're all with me. We cannot leave the Khalifa of Rasulullah alone in Medina, and we cannot leave the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam without protection, and we cannot leave the land of Islam, Medina, without any fighters. So even he was trying to convince the Khalifa to stop sending this army. What did Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu say? He said, even if dogs would come into Medina and drag the feet of the wives of Rasulullah, I'm going to send this army. And even if no one is left in Medina but me, I would still send out this army, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said so. Because this was the judgment of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What Abu Bakr is saying here is that I don't care about the results. I do not care about the outcome. If everybody is killed and I'm the only person left, I'm still going to send out this army. And if it becomes so bad in Medina that dogs would come in and drag out the wives of Rasulullah, I'm still going to send out this army. So Abu Bakr is saying, I'm going to do what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said should be done, no matter what the outcome is. So this completely defies the logic of people who always say, let's weigh the benefit and let's weigh the harm in everything until everything in Sharia becomes a vegetable soup. Everything is lost. You don't have any constance in Sharia anymore, because they subjugate everything to this rule of benefit and harm. What's the benefit in doing this? It would cause a lot of harm. SubhanAllah, the whole issue of fighting fi sabilillah brings harm. You're putting your life and your wealth in danger. So when you look at it from this mafsada and maslaha point of view, it is a mafsada. You are putting yourself and your wealth in danger. Isn't this a harm? So using this in jihad fi sabilillah doesn't work, because jihad in itself is something that will bring you harm. So you shouldn't subjugate it to this rule of benefit and trying to outweigh the benefits and harm. The benefit and harm of jihad fi sabilillah. It doesn't work that way. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, I don't care what will happen. I am the person responsible for the ummah, and I know that the outcome could be that all of us could be wiped out. And I know that I'm responsible to protect the wives of Rasulullah. But even if I send out this army, and as a result, the wives of Rasulullah ﷺ are snatched by dogs, even if I know that that will happen, I'm still going to send out this army. Why? هذا قضاء رسول الله. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ wanted. Umar al-Khattab came to him, the Sahaba came to him, he refused. He said, this army will go out. Now, this was an issue of ijtihad. It wasn't an issue where there's a fixed rule that you cannot break. For example, nobody can make ijtihad in salah. I'm not going to pray dhuhr today. You can't make that ijtihad, because I just don't feel like it, because of the weather or because I'm sick. The order of salah is fixed. So it's not a matter of ijtihad. This issue that Abu Bakr was dealing with was a matter of ijtihad. Otherwise the Sahaba wouldn't have objected. If it was something that they had to follow, they wouldn't have debated the issue with Abu Bakr. But this was an issue of ijtihad. And Abu Bakr chose the ijtihad of following the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ, even though he did not have to in this issue. Why? Because this was an issue similar to, for example, choice of a battlefield. Rasulullah ﷺ in the Battle of Badr chose a particular place. So Al-Habbab bin Munzir told him, did Allah tell you to choose this place, or is this your opinion? Rasulullah said, this is my opinion. Al-Habbab said, then I have a better opinion for you. We stand in front of the wells of Badr so that we prevent the enemy from drinking from the water. So Al-Habbab wanted to know whether Rasulullah was instructed by Allah to be here, or whether it was his opinion in warfare. When he knew that it was his opinion in warfare, he gave him a different opinion. This is also similar. Here you have Rasulullah sending out an army for a particular purpose, but now the circumstances are different. Therefore, if Abu Bakr held back this army, he would have been allowed to do so from a Sharia point of view. He has the right to make an ijtihad in such an issue, because Rasulullah did not make it mandatory to send out this army. This army was sent out based on variables, based on circumstances. So it was a matter of ijtihad. Nevertheless, Abu Bakr said, he said in one of his speeches, إِنَّمَا أَنَا مُتَّبِعٌ وَلَسْتُ بِالْمُبْتَدَعٍ. I am a follower and I'm not an innovator. I'm not going to bring any new rules. I'm going to follow the way of Rasulullah ﷺ, step by step. So it's very important that this is how we deal with issues of Sharia. We need to do what Allah told us to do, regardless of what the outcome will be. Because a lot of people are arguing today that it's not a suitable time for jihad fi sabilillah because of this and that. There's tons of excuses that they bring forth. The answer should be, we are not responsible for the outcome. We should do what Allah told us to do. Jihad fi sabilillah is fard ayn. We should fight even if the dogs are going to come and snatch away our families. Even if no one remains on the face of the earth except one Muslim. They should still fight jihad fi sabilillah as long as it is fard ayn, and it's fard ayn. Today jihad fi sabilillah is fard ayn. So let's follow the way of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and follow the orders of Allah Azza wa Jal and leave the result on Allah. Now, with this issue of Abu Bakr, let's look at the result. When the army left out Medina and traveled all throughout Arabia to go to the Roman Empire, they passed through the land of the other Arabs. So these other Arab tribes who were planning to invade Medina said, if these people have enough strength to go and fight the Roman Empire, they must have tons of reserve forces back in Medina. So they changed their mind. They didn't go to fight. They backed out of their plans to invade Medina. What was the response of the Romans? Herakl received the news of the death of Rasulullah ﷺ and the news of this army in the same day. He said, if these people lose their leader and they're still strong enough to send us an army to fight us, and we're the superpower of the world, there must be something going on. So they refuse to fight the Muslims. The army of Usama goes and enters the land of the Roman Empire, not even one single Roman soldier faces them. He takes some booty and he leaves back victorious to Medina. This is the meaning of وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. If you have taqwa, Allah will provide a way out for you from avenues that you did not expect. See, underline this word here, you did not expect it. See, you're looking at the situation and you see that it's impossible. There's no way I can make it out. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling you, I'm going to provide you victory. I'm going to provide you a way out from a source that you never expected. It was a test for your taqwa. Whether you will have taqwa and do what Allah wants you to do, no matter what will happen to you. If you do that, then Allah Azza wa Jalla will provide you with a way out. فأصحاب المنهج الباطل الذين أنكروا نبوة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنكروا صحة هذا الدين هم الذين علقوا الدين بأشخاص وعلقوا الجهاد برموز، ومنهجهم أدى بهم إلى فساد عظيم، حيث أنكروا المقدمات بسبب بطلان النتائج أو فشلها. ومتى ما وصل المرء إلى هذا المنهج فسيقع حتما في الكفر واليأس والقنوط. He said that people who base their judgment based on what the outcome is going to be, he said this would lead eventually to either kufr or despair. So it's a very dangerous path to follow. Never judge the means based on the end. وهذا هو منهج كثير من الرويبضات اليوم. He said this is the way of a lot of Muslims today. الذين لا يستحيون من الله ولا من عباده، ففي كل حدث لهم قول يناقض ما قبله بأيام، فإذا رأوا نصرا أشادوا وزادوا وأعادوا في المنح والتمجيد، وإذا رأوا هزيمة وابتلاء من الله لعباده ضللوا وبدعوا وفسقوا ونقدوا وسبوا وشتموا. He said that there are a lot of Muslims today, and probably here he's speaking about scholars and da'is. He said that they have no shame. One day you find them following one opinion, the next day they could go the exact opposite. He said that if they see victory, then they praise it and they try to show that they were involved in it. And if they see victory, then they criticize and they speak against them and they say, we told you so. And they try to show that they had nothing to do with it. And we could give an example of this. A lot of the people, many of the scholars, many of the da'is and many of the Islamic groups were very supportive of the Afghan jihad against Russia, against the Soviet Union. They supported it. They would fundraise, they would make khutab about it, they would give lectures about it, they would try to show that they're supporting the mujahideen. And that is when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan. Now when America invaded Afghanistan, these same people are taking the exactly opposite position. And they're criticizing the mujahideen and they're trying to put them down and accuse them of being terrorists and having no hikmah. What's the difference? Afghanistan was invaded before and it's invaded now. The only difference is that before it was invaded by the Soviet Union and now it's invaded by the USA, who claims to have the ability to inflict harm on you. And just like, I think it was Bush who said, the long arm of American justice will get you wherever you are on the face of the earth. So the only reason why these scholars are now against jihad in Afghanistan is because America is involved in it. Because they feel that their interests could be threatened. That's the only difference. And this is a sign of nifaq, that you join the cheering when it's easy, and when things get difficult, you change your opinion on the same issue. Right? There's nothing different. The land is the land, the same land, Afghanistan. It was invaded by kuffar before and it's invaded by kuffar now. No difference. He said, وَلَعَلَّ أَعْظَمَ حِكْمَةٍ لِلَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى في لحوق الهزيمة بالمجاهدين هو تصفية صفوفهم وتمحيصهم أولا، ثم تمحيص من تمسحوا بهم ونسبوا أنفسهم إليهم، وقد كشف الله أساليبهم ووصفهم وصفا دقيقا. He said, probably one of the greatest benefits of the defeat of the mujahideen is so that their ranks will be purified. And all of these people who would otherwise join and clap for them and cheer for them, their truth would be revealed. So this would show who are the mu'mineen and who are the munafiqeen. Because if they won, a lot of people who had nothing to do with them would join in and say, Allahu Akbar, and join the takbirs. So Allah Azza wa Jal wants to separate between the mu'mineen and the munafiqeen. Who are the people who are going to go the whole way until the end? And who are the ones who are going to only go as far as they can make it without losing anything? Allah Azza wa Jal describes these people by saying, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ لَمَن لَيُبَطِّئَنَّ فَإِنْ أَصَابَتْكُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالَ قَدْ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيَّ إِذْ لَمْ أَكُنْ مَعَهُمْ شَهِيدًا. There is certainly among you he who would linger behind from fighting in Allah's cause. If a misfortune befalls you, he says, indeed Allah has favored me in that I was not present among them. A lot of people who were thinking about going and joining, when they saw the result, they said, Alhamdulillah, I didn't go. This is exactly what the munafiqeen said. They stay behind and wait. And when they saw that the Muslims lost, they said, Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah. I didn't join them. Otherwise I would have been somewhere now on some island or something. وقال الله عنهم فاضحا لأساليبهم العفنة. And Allah Azza wa Jal also says about them, Allah exposes them, الذين يتربصون بكم فإن كان لكم فتح من الله قالوا ألم نكن معكم وإن كان للكافرين نصيب قالوا ألم نستحوذ عليكم ونمنعكم من المؤمنين فالله يحكم بينكم يوم القيامة ولن يجعل الله للكافرين على المؤمنين سبيلا. Those hypocrites who wait and watch about you, if you gain a victory from Allah, they say, were we not with you? So in the early Afghan Jihad, everybody was saying, we were the Mujahideen, we support them. But if the disbelievers gain a success, they say to them, now they're speaking to the disbelievers, they say, did we not gain mastery over you, and did we not protect you from the believers? Allah will judge between you all on the day of resurrection, and never will Allah grant to the disbelievers a way to triumph over the believers. A lot of people will jump the bandwagon if the Mujahideen win. And as soon as they lose, they try to claim that they have nothing to do with them. These are terrorists, we have nothing to do with these people. نعم شعيرة الجهاد لا يقوم بها إلا من كان أهلا لذلك فدونه ودون النصر والتمكين مفاوز تنقطع فيها أعناق الإبل. He said, yes, this ritual of jihad cannot be carried except by those who are befitting for it, qualify for it. Because between us and victory is a long way, and the Arabs say تنقطع في أعناق الإبل. It's a journey so long it will break the necks of camels. He said the journey is very long between us and victory. We shouldn't expect victory to be soon. And he says, وهذه الشعيرة أيضا لا يناصرها اليوم إلا من أعد العدة للبلاء والفتنة. And this ritual today will not be supported except by those who are prepared for trials and tribulations. If you're not ready for trials and tribulations, forget about it. Do not join the ranks of the Mujahideen because you think that jihad is all victories, and it's all booty, and it's all of being heroes, and that's not the case. Today it's going to be either you're arrested or killed. That's the most likely outcome. Either arrested and thrown in some prison cell somewhere in the world, or being killed. So one needs to prepare themselves for this outcome early on so that they'll be able to handle it. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us all the sabr. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira.